heater. Push down the white tube toward heater and put the heater inside the heater housing. Put on the bracket. There are 3 latches to match the heater housing. Put it in and rotate to lock. Switchboard and switch holder. Before put the switchboard inside, put the 2 gaskets in. Each gasket needs to lean toward outside. There are 2 notches on the switchboard. Make the 2 notches heading toward the machine. You can use a stick to poke into the hole to stabilize the switchboard so you can lock the 2 screws. The screws are made of stainless steel, so you could attach a piece of double-sided tape to stick the screws. Lock the screw into the way slightly leaning toward outside, so the gaskets could beat away from the points on switchboard. Make the wire of the switchboard pass through the ditch. Put the long tube with the square holes matched. Put the handle inside the hole. Turn the surface with B logo towards down. Make the handle and the metal parts combined together. Put the crossbar inside the holes. Make sure the crossbar goes through all the holes. Lock the 2 screws on the handle. Heater housing. Before putting in the heater module, insert the mica sheet inside first. Use the foam notches for positioning. The mica sheet is important. Please make sure it is put inside. Put all the wires go through the hole and then put in the heater module. Find something to put the machine upside down. Lock the 4 screws inside the machine. Crossbar. To put inside the crossbar, the door has to be opened. You can use a tool to keep the door opened. Put the crossbar pass through the holes. Please make sure the round head of the crossbar is on your left side. Lock the C-ring. You can use a tool like needle nose piler to help with it. If you succeed, you will hear the sound of clicking. Housing runway and frame cover. Before installing the bin slot, the wires need to be neat and tidy. Put the sensor wires and the switchboard wires beside the hole of the screw. You can see there are two holes near the tool. Make sure the wires are near the hole on the left-hand side. Put the bin slot back and make sure the wires are not under the slot, so the wires won't be damaged while locking the screw of slot. Lock the two screws back to the bin slot hole. Put the frame cover back. Lock the 4 screws back. Frame glass bottom. Turn the machine upside down. To lock the screws of the long tube, please push the wire of the switchboard away from the 4 screws, so the wire won't be damaged while locking the 4 screws. Make sure the 4 holes are matched with the long tube. You can first lock the screws in halfway. Make sure the positions are correct, and then lock the screws into the end. Turn the machine back to original side. Put the hot-resistant rubber ring first. Put the side with gap facing upward. Put the frame glass button with the notch pointing toward the long tube and facing down. Lock the 4 screws. Be careful of the screw hole stripping with over-torquing. Organize wires. Push the wires back to the hole one by one. Put the out-housing button back to the machine. Use the lens to lock the out-housing button. Push the lens toward the outside and make sure it fits perfectly. Organize wires too. Connect the wires to motherboard and MCU board. First, we do the motherboard part. There's colorless name on the board. Connect the cable with the correct color to the board. For connecting the AC code, connect the line with the words to the ACL position. Fold the cables and use the board to press them. Install the board to the notch. Connect the cable of the switchboard to the position J7 on MCU board. The cable of sensor to the position J8. The 6-pin yellow cable to the motherboard position J11. Connect the black cable to the position and make sure the black cable won't block the MCU board. Before installing MCU board, adjust the LED if it's crooked. Insert MCU board into the notch. Make the AC code go around the circle. The bigger part of the AC code buckle faces toward outside. The buckle is still inside the frame button. Put the knob back and make sure it works normally, and put the base back. Lock the 3 screws. Turn the machine back to original side. Put the outer glass tube. Put the frame top back to the machine. Lock the 4 screws. Make sure the position is correct. You can first lock the screws in halfway to make sure the position is correct, and then lock the screws into the end. Chaff collector and top cover. Put the inner glass tube back to the machine. Put the rubber ring back, the side of gap facing downward. Put the chaff collector and the top cover back.